Welcome to the aux family. In this video, we will walk you through the full installation requirements for your new aux clutch. Prepare your engine for your new aux clutch. Note how the failed clutch is assembled to the engine. A picture of this could be of value during reassembly. Remove the failed clutch from the engine shaft. Note if there are any crankshaft spacers between the failed clutch and the engine block. Retain any spacers as it may be necessary to use them during the installation of your new clutch. Clean any corrosion from the engine crankshaft and surrounding area. Inspect the crankshaft and surrounding area for any wear which might affect the mounting of the new aux clutch. Inspect your equipment wiring. If there is a bad or weak connection, the clutch will not be able to obtain the power needed to fully engage. Your battery voltage should be between 13 and 14.5 volts direct current when the engine is running. The equipment circuit should be visually inspected from the clutch all the way back to the power source, including all safety circuits. Switches and connections should be cleaned and very secure. Wires should be checked for chafing or other damage. It is certain that if the clutch does not have adequate power, it will fail. Select the diagrams appropriate for your application. If the clutch is installed so that the pulleys are towards the engine, use the diagrams labeled long crankshaft pulleys towards engine and short crankshaft pulleys towards engine. If your clutch is installed with the magnet towards the engine, use the diagrams labeled long crankshaft magnet towards engine and short crankshaft magnet towards engine. Position the replacement clutch in the same orientation as the original onto your engine, ensuring that you're utilizing any crankshaft spacers. Now, visually confirm that the new clutch pulley aligns with your equipment pulley. If the pulleys align, inspect the outer bearing by looking through the hole in the bearing to the tip of the crankshaft. If the crankshaft extends a 1/4 inch or more into the bearing, you will follow the instruction for long crankshaft. If your crankshaft does not meet the bearing, you will follow the instruction for short crankshaft. If your clutch is equipped with the clutch brake shown, please verify that the clutch armature is positioned under the clutch brake. Now that we've gone over all necessary preparations, it is time to install the replacement clutch to the engine. Follow the ensuing steps for long crankshaft and short crankshaft installation, as well as the appropriate diagrams, which were selected earlier. The next instruction will be for short crankshafts only. Long crankshaft installs will be discussed after. Please note, if your clutch casing position is determined by nut and spring tension like shown, you will not need a D-spacer, as the clutch's outer bearing is supported by an internal sleeve. You will use a flat washer in its place and skip to the long crankshaft installation instructions. As shown in the diagram for short crankshaft, the crankshaft does not penetrate the outer bearing. Because of this, a D-spacer will be necessary to support and center the bearing. An air gap between the end of the shaft and tip of the D-spacer will be absolutely critical. If a gap is not present, the required clamping force will not be applied to the assembly and the clutch will fail. To verify that an air gap is present, measure the distance from the end of the crankshaft to the outer bearing mounting surface and verify that it is longer than the D-spacer, as shown. After verifying that there is a gap present, line the new clutch up with your existing anti-rotation device. Install the clutch retaining bolt through the D-spacer and into the crankshaft. This bolt must be grade 8 in hardness, clean, and free of any solutions. The length will depend on your application, but should be the same as with the original clutch. When tightened, the bolt should penetrate the crankshaft by at least 3/4 of an inch. Use a torque wrench to tighten the bolt to the necessary values. For 3/8 bolts, torque the bolt between 40 and 45 foot-pounds. For 7/16 bolts, torque between 50 and 55 foot-pounds. The next instruction will be for long crankshaft installs only. As shown in the diagram for long crankshaft installation, the crankshaft must penetrate the outer bearing but cannot reach the flat washer. It is not important how much gap is present between the end of the crankshaft and the flat washer, just that there is a gap. If a gap is not present, the necessary clamping force will not be applied to the clutch assembly and the clutch will fail. After verifying that there is a gap present, line the new clutch up with your existing anti-rotation device. Install the clutch retaining bolt through the flat washer and into the crankshaft. This bolt must be grade 8 in hardness, clean, and free of any solutions, including anti-seize. The length will depend on your application, but should be the same as with the original clutch. When tightened, the bolt should penetrate the crankshaft by at least 3/4 of an inch. Use a torque wrench to tighten the bolt to the necessary values. For 3/8 bolts, torque the bolt between 40 and 45 foot-pounds. For 7/16 bolts, torque between 50 and 55 foot-pounds. Now, it is time to integrate your new aux clutch with your equipment's electrical system. Your equipment's electrical system features either a 1-wire or 2-wire connection point at the location it met the discarded clutch. Follow the instructions in one of the 3 wiring scheme scenarios provided that best aligns with your specific application. If your equipment harness has a 2-wire connection and it matches the connector on the new clutch, simply plug the two together and your wiring is complete. If your equipment wiring at the location it met the discarded clutch has a 2-wire attachment and the connectors do not match, cut the plugs and splice directly to the new aux wires. There's no polarity to these wires, therefore they're interchangeable. If your equipment wiring harness had a 1-wire connection at the location it met the original clutch, you will need to ground one of the wires from the new aux clutch to any convenient bolt on the engine or frame. Again, these wires are interchangeable. Be sure that the surface it is being grounded to is clean and free of paint. It is imperative that it has a low resistance connection to battery ground or the clutch will fail. The other aux clutch wire will be spliced directly into the single wire on your equipment electrical harness. The final step to installing your new aux clutch is the burnishing process. 2 things are accomplished with this procedure. First, the mating surfaces of the armature and rotor will be able to wear in under a controlled load. This process improves the engagement and the disengagement characteristics of the clutch, extending its life. Second, the full power takeoff assembly will be stressed to the point that the bolt connecting the clutch to the crankshaft will be strained, affecting its clamping force. Retorquing the crankshaft bolt after burnishing will securely set the force being applied by the crankshaft bolt and washer. Install your belts per the requirements of your equipment service manual. Start the engine with the equipment stationary and in a location free of loose material. Follow the steps illustrated on the displayed diagram. Step 1. Accelerate to roughly half throttle with the PTO switch off. Step 2. Engage the clutch and wait for the blades to reach full speed. Step 3. Disengage the clutch and wait for the blades to become still. Repeat this process 10 times in total. Finally, shut down the machine and retorque the crankshaft bolt to the values specified earlier. Congratulations! Your aux clutch installation is now complete.